Welcome to the symposium session titled Spectrum of Teaching Styles, the Institute, Current Research, and Directions for the Future. The title of this presentation is The Reciprocal Style of Teaching, What We Know and Future Research. I'm Mark Byra, Professor Emeritus, University of Wyoming. There will be three parts to this presentation. Part one, a brief description of Style C. Part two, what we know about Style C. And finally, part three, ideas about future research in Style C. In Style C, learners work in pairs. One learner serves as the doer, while the other learner serves as the observer. Task sheets that include pictures and critical skill cues are used by the observer. Once the observer has offered feedback to the doer about the prescribed movement, the doer and observer switch roles. This process of reciprocity, that is, the paired learners taking turns serving as doer and observer, is what distinguishes Style C from other peer teaching, peer-assisted learning formats. In the role of doer, the learners continue to make the 9 impact decisions introduced in Style B. While in the role of observer, the learners make the post-impact decisions specific to offering task-related feedback to the doer. All right, let me now present what research currently informs us about Style C. Firstly, the results from numerous studies indicate that physical education teachers from many different countries around the world report using Style C within their regular instructional practices, and in the majority of these countries, the teachers consistently ranked Style C within the top 3 to 5 spectrum styles used. Given this finding, it seems worthy that the reciprocal style of teaching should continue to be researched. Secondly, results from numerous studies show Style C to be effective in enhancing learner motor performance, skill acquisition. Positive findings have been associated with different aged learners, elementary, secondary, college-aged, and different motor skills, such as scarf juggling, football juggling, and so forth, with study interventions lasting from 1 to 12 lessons. Clearly, learner skill performance improves when taught within the instructional structure of Style C. Thirdly, research indicates that Style C supports the development of attributes specific to the affective educational learning domain, as reflected in learner perceptions. Results from several studies showed that when paired with friends, the learners felt more comfortable giving and receiving feedback to one another. The observers provided a higher rate of specific feedback to the doer, and the doer's skill acquisition was found to be greater than when learners were paired with non-acquaintances. These results suggest that the pairing strategy used in Style C, specifically pairing learners with friends or acquaintances, can positively influence a learner's feelings and emotions. Further research indicates that Style C supports the development of affective attributes linked to student motivation. Teacher behaviors associated with Style C were found to be more closely associated with a mastery-related motivational climate than a performance-related motivational climate. Mastery-related motivational climate behaviors are supportive of student autonomy and perceived competence. In other research, where learners self-select partners, they perceive themselves as feeling better related and better in the task performed, perceived competence, than when paired by ability level. When examining the effects of Style C on learners' perceived motivation, learners perceived an increase in intrinsic motivation. Learners perceived an increase in enjoyment and autonomy. And learners perceived a decrease in extrinsic motivation and amotivation. The research reviewed in this third section of what we know about Style C indicates that the decision-making structure of Style C creates a positive instructional atmosphere, one that learners perceive to be comfortable, motivating, enjoyable, and interesting. And fourthly, an area that has received attention in the last few years is how students can be better prepared to perform in the role of observer in Style C. In the role of observer, the researchers hypothesized that learners require knowledge about critical skill elements for correct performance, common content knowledge, and knowledge about identifying and correcting performance errors, specialized content knowledge. Results from several studies support this hypothesis. That is, training in CCK and SCK is more effective than only in CCK. Observers detect more errors in the doer's task performance, and doers perform the task at a higher level. In summary, research tells us that the reciprocal style of teaching is a valuable instructional strategy to employ to meet the diverse educational learning outcomes goals in physical education. Outcomes that are reflective of the physical, cognitive, affective, and social educational learning domains. I will now turn to the third part of this presentation, my thoughts about future research ideas for Style C. Number one, we know incoming physical education, teacher education students have predetermined beliefs about physical education that do not necessarily align with those of the physical education, teacher education program. And we know that to change these beliefs, physical education, teacher education faculty need to provide the students the opportunity to share and discuss their current beliefs. I'm addressing the theoretical framework of socialization of physical education teachers here, specifically the acculturation phase of socialization. Given this information, a question of inquiry may be, how might we engage physical education, teacher education students in this conversation? Use a short videotaped Style C episode to stimulate the PETE students' current beliefs about physical education. Capture their beliefs, their thoughts about this new, different way of teaching through open-ended questions, statements, and individual interviews. This could then lead to class discussions about how new ideas, new ways of teaching, new ways of viewing physical education can change their current perceptions of physical education. Idea 2. Examine how Style C is used in a curriculum model, like sport education. A question of inquiry may be, how do teachers incorporate Style C within the sport educational model? A broader version of this question may be, how do teachers incorporate the spectrum teaching styles within sport education, tactical games approach, teaching personal and social responsibility, and so forth, other curriculum models? This question may be examined from a theoretical perspective, that is, according to what the curriculum model ascribes to at the instructional level, and or applied perspective, that is, what actually takes place at the instructional level of the curriculum model. Idea 3. Examine the impact of Style C on the development of social skills in learners. A question of inquiry may be, what characteristics, skills associated with social development are enhanced through learner participation in Style C in physical education? Characteristics like cooperation, interaction, responsibility, decision-making, active listening, communicating, and other. Perhaps this study may be conducted as part of a broader school-based study where a school wants its learners to ascribe to a particular model of interaction, social skill development. The question now may become, how might Style C enhance the development of the characteristic social skills associated with the school's model for interaction? Idea 4. Examine how to better prepare learners to serve in the role of observer. Iserbyt and colleagues have begun to examine the impact of training learners to serve as observers in Style C within cardiopulmonary resuscitation. We need to expand on this research. Questions to consider include, how does design of the task sheet affect observer and doer performance? What is the effect of viewing a videotape that includes examples of correct motor task performance and common errors in performance on observer and doer performance? How accessible are short video clips for students within the instructional setting? That is, can it be viewed on tablet, iPhone, or other form of technology? I believe that this could be a very fruitful area for research. And finally, number 5, build on what we already know about Style C. Conduct replication studies. That is, we need to continue to replicate studies already published, but do so across different motor tasks, across different aged participants, and in different cultural settings. There is still much to be learned about Style C. That concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention.